before we get into today's discussion, we want to give you a heads up that our conversation touches on the subject of mass shootings and gun violence. It's somewhat of a spoiler for the movie that we're covering today, The Drama, directed by Christopher Borgli, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, but it includes lengthy psychological discussions of mass shootings, although none are actually depicted in the film. If that's something you'd rather sit out, we completely understand, and we'll see you on the next one. For those staying with us, this film does not treat this subject lightly. It confronts it head-on as the engine of what I believe to be a genuinely riveting character study between the two main leads and other characters in the film. Whether or not you decide to tune in for this episode, thank you for your support.
There it is.
Well, this is Flyover Film Country, a film podcast hosted by residents of Arkansas and Oklahoma, and we want everyone to know that movies are great, and we're building a community of film fans in Flyover Country.
That's right, and today we are talking about the new film, The Drama. So, the director, as we previously discussed in our little warning, trigger warning, we talk about some tough things, heavy things, and the director said, I just want to say that you should watch it, and however you react is valid. And I think that that's great. I mean, because it's going to have a lot of mixed reactions and has so far. And so, I mean, before we get into it, though, Isaac is on the episode with us today. And
whoop, whoop. Let's give it up for Isaac.
Hey, let's give it up for Isaac.
Since I'm not producing, I'm not doing that annoying ass soundbite that Walter always uses.
So glad to have you back, and you wanna give us your thoughts on the two movies you've missed, right? Ready or Not 2,
yes.
And then also Project Hail Mary. So before we get into the drama, let's hear your thoughts on those films.
Also, I just want to say real quick, apologies for the glitch on the intro music, y'all. Whenever you start recording, it switches any tracks from live to preview, even if you want to go into the episode set to live. So I was playing it, but just listening to it, and kind of forget that that's how it goes. But I wanted to commend you both on your episodes of Ready or Not 2 and Project Hail Mary.
Thanks.
Project Hail Mary saw it in IMAX. Amaze. You came down and saw it in IMAX as well.
Yep.
Walker, right?
Yeah, with Savannah's whole family and not Savannah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really cool testament to Lord and Miller, how you can get, I could watch Ryan Gosling by himself in a movie, but Ryan Gosling really carrying that movie with another person, a puppet. It's going to be like an early contender for Best Picture and a bunch of other below the line nominations. Yeah. I can already tell it could be like the Sinners of next Oscar season. Yeah. So that'll be really fun to see. The infrared stuff was super cool. I love that they had been developing it for like 6 years. It was crazy. They really put their heart and soul into that movie. And then Ready or Not 2 was a lot of fun. I laughed super hard at the laundry machine scene and the wedding scene when they're both pepper sprayed and swinging at each other. But yeah, I liked both those movies. I got to see Project Hail Mary with my older sister and Ready or Not 2 with my older brother and younger brother. So those were family affairs. And then I saw The Drama by myself. So... yeah.
Nice. All right. Let's just dive right in.
Should we dive right in?
We shall.
I appreciate
y'all. Where do we
y'all's
want to start, everyone?
expeditiousness getting into the last two episodes too. Y'all just literally dove right in. Also, I don't know if you, Walker, I don't know if you saw this. You may need to talk right into your microphone because I could barely hear you earlier.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, that's better.
Pop that sucker up.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, friends don't let friends be quieter than they're supposed to be on a podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, The Drama. starring Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. It's directed by Christopher Borgli. He is a... Shoot. Let me look real quick. I don't want to get this wrong. He's a Swedish director, I believe. Yeah, so he was born in Oslo in 1985 and worked in advertising and then started making films. And this is his fourth film. He made a movie called Drib in 2017. Sick of Myself was shot on 35 millimeter and debuted at Cannes and to a lot of acclaim. And then his third film was with Nicolas Cage was Dream Scenario, where Nicolas Cage shows up in everyone's dreams, literally all around the world.
Oh, yeah.
A really amazing premise for a movie that doesn't quite stick the landing, but is still really, really interesting and well done. I feel like Scandinavian filmmakers have a way with editing their movies that kind of shows up in, Sentimental Value and Worst Person in the World. That director's name is escaping me.
Something with a J.
Joachim Trier. Thank you.
There you go. Good job. I knew you'd get there.
We did it together.
Teamwork.
That's right.
How many
Teamwork
American
makes the dream work.
podcasters does it take? But yeah, I really liked that, and I was really looking forward to the drama even before. Zendaya and Robert Pattinson were always attached to it, as far as I can tell. But the intrigue for this movie really increased in recent weeks because it was spoiled for me on social media that the movie featured in some capacity a mass shooting. And I was like, what is this movie about? And then it started to crystallize for me. So I wanted to start there. I thought I would start there because the twist of this movie is sort of the mass shooting, but I wanted to see whether or not that was spoiled for you guys going into the movie.
So I think I want to, before I get into that, I want to say that the marketing for this film. Oh, we lost Walker. I
wonder if we should keep going or
I don't know.
Let's pause.
And we're back. Sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties.
This is for Walter to know to cut it right here. Okay, so what I was talking about was the marketing for this film is genius because had any sort of semblance or reference to the idea of a mass shooting been a part of it, no one would see this movie. It would not be something that people were super excited to see, right? And so the marketing was fascinating because it was building it up. It references that there's some secret, right? That something is revealed in such a way that is really horrific and makes everyone start to question everything. And so the marketing was genius for this. And so then it reveals the secret pretty early into the movie. I think probably 20 minutes, if that. Yep. Yeah, 20, 30 minutes, I think.
So I want to get into later the reaction, how everyone felt about everyone else's reaction in the movie to the secret being revealed. Yeah. But yeah, it very much, I think, is a kind of a scary secret, but also it's interesting because nothing actually happened. So anyway, I don't know where we want to go from there. Walker, what do you think of the secret?
So Olivia, it was not you. Yeah. You went in not knowing.
I saw something. I forgot that's where we started. I knew where I was talking about marketing. I saw something about a survivor of the Parkland shooting. And I was I don't know what this has to do with anything, but I'm going to look away. I don't know. And so that was it. And one of my friends, he said earlier that day that the movie had been spoiled for him, but he wasn't really sure how, but he saw that, I think it was one of the Columbine survivors was also suing A24 for this film. And so he saw that, and that was spoiled for him. And he had told me that he had seen the spoiler, but he didn't tell me what, because he wasn't sure what it was. Interestingly enough, that friend, his name is Wes, he and I ended up buying tickets to see this movie at the exact same time, unknowingly. And so that was fun for us to talk about the movie afterwards for like 20 minutes, which was really, really fun. But, yeah. So sort of, but I didn't really know like in what context. And so I knew something along the lines of mass shootings had something to do with it, but I wasn't sure how.
Okay.
So.
All right, Walker, what about you? Did you have it spoiled?
I did. It was spoiled for me.
We're just too online, man.
Well,
We're too online.
I usually do a good job of avoiding stuff like that.
Same.
And it was just a post that said, like, it seemed like it was just general information about the movie. And so I was like, I'll read this and maybe I'll learn more about the director or something. And then, the second sentence spoiled the secret.
Yeah. My mom told me that this was spoiled for her. That was spoiled for her like a week ago. Like the movie hadn't even gotten out, like had been released yet.
That was me too. The movie was not out. That's why I wasn't worried.
Yeah.
It was last week.
So the first 30 minutes of the movie is, I don't remember what the last shot of the movie, but the opening shot of the movie is Emma, played by Zendaya, her right ear, and it's just this ambient noise, and we come to learn that she's deaf in that ear.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And Charlie is trying to find a way to get in to talk to her because he's drawn to her. And so the first 30 minutes are really like a rom-com, and it's very effective. It's like very sweet and like way more chemistry between them than in like all of Materialist, like last year. It's the same kind of tributaries we're swimming in or boating in. Forgive the metaphor, but then at the 30-minute mark, they're with Alana Haim's character, Rachel, and Mamadou Athie, who is Mike, and he's Rachel's husband, and they drunkenly start on the what's the worst thing you've done game, just Dangerous Waters.
Yeah.
But and you see that in one of the trailers, and that's how I connected those dots whenever I had seen the father, either the father or survivor of a Columbine, was outraged about this movie, and I was like, okay, that's what it is. It's like it's either Charlie or Emma who has this terrible secret.
So you're talking about Isaac, Scandinavian directors and their editing, and I think the beginning of this movie is such a masterclass in editing, and I was telling Savannah too, writing as well. Like I thought the beginning of this movie, you're learning about the two main characters' relationship through Robert Pattinson writing his speech he's going to give at the wedding and going through the stories he's going to tell, which I thought was such a great way for us to just quickly get the overview of this couple's 2-year relationship. And it was like really smart, and the editing was just really great, especially in that first 30 minutes. And I was so going in, having had it spoiled, like that was honestly like building so much dread in me, because I was like, I like this couple, like I'm like rooting for them, and I know like what's about to come out.
The funny thing about the movie is the editing is really getting inside both of their heads at different points. After the big reveal, it gets in Emma's head, and she's envisioned like you're very. I love the editing in this, and it's Christopher Borgley and Joshua Raymond Lee. So it's both, and it's really cool when Sean Baker does this too. He edits his own movies. It's a big part of how you tell the story. It's a huge part of how you tell the story. You're able to differentiate between what is something in their mind, especially right at the beginning when Robert Pattinson's like really ashamed or embarrassed that he's trying to like hit on Emma,
right?
And and he like sees everybody looking at him like he's about to do something bad, even though it's like he's just trying to talk to her. And then it ends up being embarrassing because he is talking into her right ear and she can't hear anything. Which we find out later is also connected to her terrible secret. So it's yeah. So yeah, I thought the first 30 minutes I was like, all right, the other shoe's gonna drop. And I thought it was cool how it's like first 30 minutes are a really great rom-com, and then the rest of it's kind of like a will they won't they, but a little heavier.
Yeah.
It's so stressful.
And it's making you, it's stressful, and it's making you, and this is why it's like making you, the movie makes you sit in the moral dilemma.
Right.
And really ask you, like, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah.
It gets very into Charlie's psyche for most of the movie. Even though he's second build, he really is kind of we're seeing everything kind of through his eyes.
Right.
And the mistakes he makes and the way he's processing it and trying to like justify, well, I want to stay with her, but I still have these like, I have my own reservations. But then like he gets to a point where he's trying to suss out what other people would do as like a barometer of how he should feel. And I just thought this movie was very, very effective, and it was entertaining, but then also kind of like powerful in a way I didn't expect.
Yeah. And another note on the editing too, like what's interesting is there's some like fast edits that it's almost like a blink and you miss it type of thing. You know, at one point he's flipping through that book that somehow he gets entitled Brain Rot, which I thought was really funny, of women who are wearing next to nothing almost and are holding these giant, rifles and machine guns. And at one point you see, the first time he looks through it, it's these random women. The second time he looks through it, there's a picture of Zendaya wearing, with it in it. And that's one of those things where it's like, was that there before? Or I'm not sure, which I don't think it was. I think that was something that showed up later. And again, is a really good insight into Charlie's psyche of what's going on in his head and how he's freaking out. Like he is spiraling hard. But also with Emma's psyche, after she wakes up the next morning, after the secret has been revealed and she wakes up and Charlie's not there, she's spiraling too. She envisions Charlie talking to Mike and saying
Mike
like,
says,
you've got to leave.
Beat her up.
Yeah, I'll beat her up. Which made me laugh because I was like, oh, this is fake. This is not really happening.
Yeah.
And that, I think like that too really highlights this movie. I've seen this a few times online, but this movie really is such a fun watch and a stressful watch in a theater though, because everyone is on the edge of their seat and like you kind of have to laugh at the tension or else you're also gonna freak out. And so, but that scene was really funny and got some laughs. But yeah, it's such good editing, and I do think this is a great case study. I mean, I was sitting there thinking about it almost from a therapeutic psychological lens, because at one point I was like, I don't see couples, and this is just one of the many reasons why I wouldn't want to see couples. But I did have the thought of like, what would I do if I had a client come in and say like they found this out about their partner and they're freaking out? Like, I don't know how I would respond, honestly. And so it was interesting for me to think about from my professional standpoint.
Yeah, there's another talking about pictures in the movie. There's a picture that's been used a ton in the marketing is a picture of Zendaya sitting in Robert Pattinson's lap, and it looks like an engagement photo. She's showing off her ring. But when we actually end up seeing that picture in the movie, it's kind of when Robert Pattinson's character is spiraling, and instead of showing off her ring, she has her fingers like a gun pointing at Robert Pattinson's character's head. And there's a lot. There was so much little stuff like that helped contribute to sometimes the frantic state, really, of Charlie in this movie as he is kind of losing it slowly in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
And the coffee, there's a coffee cabinet, or there's a scene,
the mug,
with the mug, and it's so fast. That it's like he saw it, registered it so quick, and then just like threw it away because it says like coffee first or I'll shoot or something.
Yeah, and there's a gun on it, and so that was another thing where I was
and
like,
then she finds it and she's like, why? Like, you're not doing like this is
this is your favorite, like one of your favorite mugs. What are you doing? Yeah, because that was another one where I was like, did I just? That was not really there. Yep. Like that's just editing, but it was there. It was an actual mug, and so, which then again makes you go, is that real or is this in someone's head? Right. So that was interesting. While we're talking about these sorts of things, let's talk about Charlie is envisioning himself with 15-year-old Emma. What did you guys think about that scene?
I thought that was brilliant because it's one of those things where I don't want to divulge this information on the podcast about myself. I have never had an experience with someone else telling me something on the level of, like, first of all, okay, Alana Himes or Rachel, her character's admission is awful, and we'll talk more. We'll talk more about Rachel as a character. Yeah, what she does is awful.
Yeah, that.
Robert
Pattinson, by the way, is talking about, like,
the what?
My name. So, little behind the scenes for everybody. We usually make our names like stupid stuff to do the movie. Mine is tonight. That kid is dead, right? And it is about her story. Like, she 100% lied, and that kid died in the closet.
Probably.
And my name is self-righteous white woman because that's what Rachel is. But Isaac,
my
back
name
to
is
you.
Isaac because I couldn't think of anything because I got 3 hours of sleep last night.
He's a sweepy boy.
I'm a sweepy boy tonight. But what Mike confesses is, like, it's bad, but it's also kind of reflexive, and so you can kind of explain it away. He hides behind his past ex-girlfriend when a dog is attacking them. It's more funny than in a dark way. And then Charlie doesn't actually admit. He doesn't want to say what he's done, even though he probably knows. That's my read on it. But like, I've never had that level of, like, oh my gosh, that's true about you. Revealed to me. But there's something, like, in mine, Jess's relationship, where she would say that there was, like, a similar kind of moment in our relationship that was difficult for her to wrestle with. And so, but this is, a school shooting, like a premeditated thing, is like a whole nother level of, like,
right.
Wait a second.
Sure.
Wait a second.
Because, like, it wasn't a simple, I had the thought. It was, I planned it out.
I was about to do
it. Left videos and notes, and I did all this research. So, just so everyone knows, if you confess to any of this, if you tell a therapist this, you are going to be sent inpatient. You had a plan, you had a means, you had intent, you're going inpatient. Them's the breaks to protect other people, right? And this is the same thing if someone is suicidal. If someone tells me they have a plan and a means and an intent, them's the breaks. You said the magic words, and now I have to send you inpatient, right? And so like, it wasn't a simple, like, I was bullied and I wanted these people to stop.
Right.
It was way more intense than that.
Well, and, like, to the point, she said she had the gun at school too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't see that, which I think is really interesting. Like, they show a lot of other things.
Right.
Yes.
They show that, I don't know that actress's name, but after you learn what she was intending to do, they have all these scenes with her and Robert Pattinson together.
Who played young
Robert Pattinson
Emma?
looks, yes.
Her name is Jordan Currit.
Awesome. I thought she was good. But she's like with Robert Pattinson in all these scenes, and it's like Emma is now that kid. Or like that person.
The lowest.
To him.
Yeah, she is now. She's no longer a whole
worst.
person.
Right.
She is who she was at her lowest and at
person.
her worst.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And also, just to clarify, like, those were never, like, the thing that I alluded to did not involve violence of any form. I just have to put that out there. That was between the lines, but I just have to put that out there. So
No, that's
anyway.
good. That's good. You clarified.
Yeah.
I didn't think that, but also this is going on the internet, so.
Yes.
But yes, I agree that Jordan Currit, who played young Emma, did a really, really great job. What was interesting too to me is Emma at one point talks about, I think in the scene where she can like tells the secret, she talks about how she was bullied. Maybe it's before that. Maybe it's whenever she's at lunch with Rachel and the other girl. She talks about how when she was younger, she was bullied because she was fat, and then they showed young Emma, and I'm like, that is a very like normal sized girl. She's like not fat at all. But again, body dysmorphia is real and that sort of thing. And but again, it just highlights like how much we don't recall things accurately. And it also made me think of the bit in 30 Rock where Liz Lemon she realizes that she was actually really mean. Like, people didn't like her because she was actually really mean to everyone and not because they hated her. So, but it's not the same thing, but that's what it made me think of. So anyway, but yes, the scenes where Robert Pattinson, where Charlie is with young Emma is really interesting because he is just seeing her as the worst and lowest version of herself.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes we do that as well. And it's sometimes hard to separate people from that.
There are a lot of scenes like that in dream scenario as well, where it's like, oh yeah, it's funny that they like swapped out those two people, you know, or he's supposed to be walking with that person, but it's that person that's seen me, and I understand what that represents, and it's like a really simple trick, you could say, but it also indicates a lot of thoughtfulness put into the script and what you're seeing. So,
and I thought it was especially interesting because it seems like there's a scene where Charlie sees a picture of Emma when she's young on her phone, and it seems like the only picture he's ever seen of her as a kid, and that's like she's wearing the same hoodie and everything in those scenes. When we see later in the movie, he's imagining himself with this version of her of when she was young, and it's like, it was interesting to me that, you know, she really has hidden essentially her entire childhood from him, because he has no other frame of reference of what she looked like than that one photo that we see him see in the movie.
Yeah. Which I think goes to show, like, I think that emphasizes the lengths that she has gone to really try to push that down and ignore that side, or like that whole period of her life, which, you know, I can understand that. Like, I can understand not wanting to dig up or relive the lowest point in your life, especially when it comes to something like that. Like, that's not something I would share with really anyone. If that was me, right? Like, not even Batman could get that out of me. Apparently for Zendaya, that did happen, right? But, so, you know, because there's definitely, I don't know about you guys, but there's definitely periods of my life that I don't ever want to revisit that feel like, you know, there are reminders, like there are certain songs or, you know, things that I think about that I'm like, I can't with that, right?
Let's talk about song triggers.
Okay. Yeah.
One for me is Eden by Hozier. Can't do it anymore.
You can't do it anymore.
Comes on and I'm like, skip. Like, can't.
Nice. Yeah.
Yep. There's very few, but that's one of them.
That's one of them. Now that I've said that, I need to think about what are some of mine. Walker, do you have any off the top of your head?
I don't know. I'm trying to
we can move on.
Yeah.
I'll vamp a little bit or continue on while you're thinking about it. But before we get to, so like the audience is really in Charlie's POV. Mm-hmm. He's trying to explain. Mm-hmm. He talks about Freud. He's a museum curator, mm-hmm. and so he is high-minded and intellectual, but he's trying to explain it, and they talk about it for a while, and you see them get to the point where I think what triggers her, not breaking and sobbing or anything, but like getting emotional and starting to cry, is when she's like, you can tell that they've been having the conversation for a while, and when she is, I think, like, truthfully saying, I realized what I was about to do was bad because something else bad happened.
Yeah.
But Charlie's judging her for like, well, someone else got to you first, and it's a really cynical way of looking at it, rather than thank God that you didn't go through with that, you know.
Yeah.
And this, there's the other thoughts I have about, like, faith and reflections just on that sort of stuff I'll leave till later, but when she says that led to me becoming an activist, and you see that she like threw her dad's gun into the swamp and stuff, and then he hints at that later in her dad's wedding speech. Charlie is just like, in the moment, I think he does get to the point where he realizes that she is contrite and changed, but in that moment he doesn't know, and he's like, well, you're a hypocrite. It's like, because 2 + 2 = 4, instead of in his mind, like, the math, like, something else happened for you to like get to this point, instead of, no, like, so many teens have this experience where it's like your self-respect and your dignity is like chipped away in tiny little, and like so many people have that experience, and it's very rarely like, oh, here's the Rosetta Stone that like explains why this happened, and he was looking for that and he couldn't find that. Yeah. And Emma was very clearly saying, like, and in that moment he's like, well, don't you feel like a hypocrite that you were about to do this thing, and then you swung back the other way, and it's like, well, no, that's like what, like, humans are like simultaneously hypocrites and heroic. Like, sometimes it's a pendulum, and sometimes it's like, no, you're like one side of the same coin, or two sides of the same coin. And that's why I really, really love about this movie is like very like messy, in a way that is very realistic. And I think that both of them really understand in the chemistry that they have together, like like being in these mortal coils is like really, really, really messy and messed up sometimes.
Yeah. Well, because relationships are messy.
Yeah. And I think Charlie's reaction makes a lot of sense, because I think if you've never been like in a place where you're so lonely and the only place you can really find any sense of community is on the internet, like, you just can't, it really is hard to understand like how someone could get so wrapped up in some sort of thing like that. Then, I think it's like kind of silly to talk about like someone getting involved in all this and planning a school shooting compared to looks maxing, but I'm going to do it for a second, where I watched an interview with that guy Clavicular, who's like the king of looks maxing right now. And
hey, for the adults that are listening, what is that?
Yeah. So looks maxing is like this movement online right now of dudes who are like, the more attractive you are, the easier life is going to be for you. So you should be doing everything you possibly can to become more attractive. And I'm talking about like doing meth. Like this dude hits his face with a hammer. They call it bone smashing. So your bone will heal and make your jawline like sharper. Like they do crazy injecting peptides that they bought from China, like crazy stuff just to try to become more attractive so that life will then be easier for them. But I watch an interview with this guy because I'm like, I'm so curious, like, why is he like this? This dude's like 21 years old. And he starts talking about how during COVID, all he did all day was is on the internet looking through forums, eventually ended up on like the incel forums, which is like where looks maxing originated. It comes like, it's like people who don't want to be incels anymore. They created look maxing. And it's like, oh, now I know why this guy is this way. When he was 16 years old, he got wrapped up, like he's lonely, and he found this community that will accept him, you know, and he's wrapped up in it. Now he's 21, and he's like leading the community and bringing in more people because it's for him. When he was lonely and a kid, it's the place where he found acceptance. And I think it's hard to understand how that could happen unless it's happened to you at some point in your life. And so that's why
it has to be the right combination of things, right? Like, you know, for him, he was a lonely 16-year-old who probably just wanted a girlfriend, like most 16-year-old boys do. And it was COVID, and everyone was like locked inside their house, and he probably had unfiltered access to the internet. And so all of those things perfectly combined to make him who he is now.
Yeah, that was well said, Walker and Olivia. And so, and just how especially when she was trying to explain it, the thing that I really resonated with is like it was oh man, this movie's so good. There's like all these other little tendrils that connect to it, mainly with how everybody is kind of being performative to some degree, which we're going to talk about Rachel Alana Haim's character here in a second, but how she is trying to explain it, but she is like fundamentally a different person from when that occurred. And she's having difficulty explaining it, and Robert Pattinson or Charlie cannot understand it and is getting kind of like not aggressive in the way that Rachel was in the Revelation scene, but in a way that just we can't like we can perform what we want in a way that we get what we want. In kind of the way that he was trying to pretend that he had read the I think it was Harper Ellison, that book at the beginning of the movie that she's reading when he hits on her. But we're really bad at we're good at performing for other people to get what we want, but we're bad at performing in a way or putting ourselves in other people's shoes to be empathetic. And he even says that in his speech later on. He's like, you're empathetic, but then he deletes it because he's like, well, I don't know if she's empathetic anymore because she was about to do a school shooting. And it's just like a really, really interesting process or like, you know, journey that he's going on that we're like really inside his head the whole time.
And I think that honestly to me was one of the most realistic parts of this movie is that Emma's difficulty in explaining everything, because we get vulnerable real quick. I worked at a summer camp one summer at this church camp, and I would describe the place that I worked now as a cult. Like it was probably a cult, and it ended up like getting shut down. All this stuff came out about it. And like when I talked to Savannah about stuff that happened there and things that like we did and no one questioned it and no one said anything. And she's like, well, why did you do that? And I can't explain it. Like, I'm like, I really have no idea. Why did I work 18 hours a day and and no one cared? Like, I didn't care. I just did it. And it's like, I really can't even remember, like, what was I thinking? Why did I let that happen? And it's so difficult to look back, and explain those things that make no sense to you anymore.
Yeah.
I would never do that. I would never work for $2 a day.
I wish I got $2 a day, dude. I was paying.
Oh, dang.
It was insane. It's a long story. We can get into it someday.
So I think, so as someone who does work with people like who are experiencing this sort of deep loneliness every day. I mean, the majority of my caseload, people are not necessarily, they haven't gone to this extreme. I haven't had to put anyone inpatient for wanting to harm other people. I have had to put people inpatient for wanting to harm themselves. But it's a similar thing, right? Of like, we as human beings, it is so fundamental to who we are as human beings to crave connection and want to be wanted. And something that we haven't hit on yet is the racial biases and undertones in this whole film, right? Like Zendaya is a black woman in this film. She is mixed race. I think her mom is white in this, and her dad is black, which is reflective of her own upbringing and experience, right? Marrying a British white man, and she moves. Her dad's in the army, so she's an army brat. Moves from place to place, and that is really hard on teenagers. Yeah. That is such a tough experience, and when you are. It looks like she goes to a private school. And so when you are a minority at a private school that is predominantly white, there's all sorts, even if it's in, I think it was in Louisiana. Yeah. And so depending on what part of Louisiana she's in, that is the South, right? Like there's a lot of things that, like the microaggressions, we were talking about the little things that just chip away at a poor teenager, that on top of the microaggressions that black teenagers experience, or any teenager from that is in a minority of some sort experiences, it's really difficult. And being a teenager, I said this earlier today, being a teenager is so hard. I think that sometimes as adults we forget how hard it is to be a teenager, and let me tell you, I would not want to be a teenager in this day and age. No, thank you. No, thank you. And so I think it is hard to really truly be empathetic. I think that people confuse sympathy and empathy, and they are very different. And meeting someone at their worst place and saying like, hey, this is not who you are. This is not all of your identity. This is not all of who you are. This is not, the one thing that has to define you. I think for a lot of people, a lot of us, we often try to define ourselves by our worst moments. Yeah. And that's not who we are, right? And you can see that Emma's character has a lot of growth. She's tried really hard to basically, kind of compensate for all those things. She wants to be a better person. She wants to care about other people. She wants to do right by those wrongs. And it
seems like she's found a way to do that I mean, as the audience, you generally believe like, I don't think this person is like psychotic. But he looks back at like they're having sex in bed and she hits him and he's like, I don't like that. And then he's like, well, is she a psychopath because she did that to me, or is that something she just likes? Or in the crosswalk when she swears out that guy who almost hit them, and it's like I actually would have done the same thing because murderists are assholes sometimes. So
and so
you start reprocessing it with a new filter of who you think that person is.
And we're all scientists at the end of the day, right? We're always collecting data and information based upon our interactions with other people, including those like we are closest to. And so when we get a new piece of information, how much does that change our current understanding of this person, right? Or the world in which we live in. And for him, that was a new lens, that was a new piece of information he was having to see his relationship through, which is difficult. Like, I think his reaction is a very human and natural response to the situation that was then made worse by Rachel and Mike, but mostly Rachel's reaction.
Yeah.
So
okay,
do we want to get into it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Rachel Alana Haim's character.
Great performance, first of all.
Great performance. Like her
Great
best.
performance.
I was like, man, I'm so glad she got to have this role.
Me
and I was
too.
Kind of like, oh, she's in this movie. That's fun. And then it's like she's like such a pivotal part of this movie.
Yeah.
I could not believe her story.
Oh my
She
gosh.
tells the story about locking the kid in that closet. I was like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? That is awful. And like someone tries to throw it back at her after Emma's talked
Charlie
about
does.
Charlie does, yeah.
Yeah.
And
then later
she's
he
so
tries to do it
upset,
again. Whenever he goes and meets with her and Mike at her office, he is like, you locked a mentally challenged kid, and you locked a disabled kid up in a abandoned closet in a house. And she's like, he wasn't challenged, he wasn't mentally disabled. And he's like, you said that. Those were your words. Yeah. And he's like, she goes, that doesn't mean he's disabled. And it's like, that's what it implies.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably safe to say hers is by far the worst, because she actually did it.
Right.
And
I think,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, Charlie says to her, I think, you actually harmed someone. Like, you actually hurt somebody in your story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that poor kid was locked in this abandoned house in a closet for like at least 12 hours.
Yeah.
Unless
overnight,
he died.
at least. Unless
he died. So
yeah. Oh man, like I kept thinking too, especially in that scene. I wish I could watch that scene just on YouTube, because it's an amazing scene. The writing, and you could tell that the four of them were just like so into the material, not in a like, perverse way or anything like that, but just very into, like, this is such a relatable scenario to be in, where you're just like, you just go a little bit too far in the conversation. You're like, oh, we're now
I regret
in it.
everything.
I literally regret everything. And especially how Alana Haim is playing, like, she's just listening to Emma start telling this, or like, confession, and she's pulling the rug out from underneath Emma after saying, like, no, it's fine, we just need to say what the worst thing we've ever done is. It's fine. Like, just say it. We're drunk.
Just say
we're
it.
Having fun.
Say it.
And yeah. She's being so aggressive, and then just like loses her mind.
Yeah.
Man. And the movie is going so fast that you don't really even understand. The other layer of it is that Emma doesn't really have, like, friends. Like, she doesn't have she's like very aloof.
She's still lonely as an adult.
And she's still she's lonely, and you realize how much Charlie means to her, because she's found like something really special that she can be herself with. And then Alana Haim, or Rachel, throws that in her face, because she is the closest person that she has, or woman that she's become friends with, her and her boss, and then Rachel. And then you're like, oh, she's still kind of lonely as an adult. And then during the speech, she just throws it in her face and is just like really unkind and awkward. And the wedding's like another thing that we'll have to
we'll get to that in a minute.
too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also like Rachel makes it about herself in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? Immediately, because her cousin, talks about her cousin Sam, who was shot in a school shooting and is paralyzed because of it. She makes it about herself, and she's like, my cousin Sam was shot and is paralyzed because of that. And it's like Charlie and Emma both are like, what are you talking about? They had never heard mention of this cousin before.
Yeah.
And she was so appalled that they didn't remember. And I don't know about you guys, I do not remember my friends' cousins like that. Unless I also know the cousin, I don't remember, unless, like, it has to be something really specific for me to remember which cousin is who and why you're bringing them up, right? So it's all about her. There's no empathy. And here's the deal. I think to some extent, the initial reaction of being appalled, especially if you had a family member who was, a victim or a survivor of a school shooting, makes sense. I think that's a human reaction. Her doubling and tripling down on it, and once again making it about her, is what I think makes her the true villain of this film.
Yeah, I think the moment I was like, okay, this lady really is a villain, is when she's like, okay, well, I got to go have lunch with Sam, and Charlie's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, I have to make sure it's okay. I go to the wedding. I can't betray her.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, this has gone from like...
It's the most performative.
Yeah, it's like gone from seemingly some genuine outrage to just total performative, like, doesn't even make any sense at this point.
Yeah, like a shit stir.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and here's the deal. Speaking of that,
drama.
Let's back up a little bit to earlier in the movie where you see the three women having lunch. And Emma is talking about her speech at the wedding, and she's like, well, I don't want to cry. And Rachel's like, yeah, you're an ugly crier. You don't want to cry at your wedding. Like, that can be passed off as, just kind of like poking fun and make like teasing your friend.
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie really highlights that was not some playful teasing. That was, I'm making you feel bad. Like, I dislike you, and I'm going to make you feel bad about being an ugly crier. Which,
and also like performative. If this was my wedding, I wouldn't want to cry because I think I'm ugly,
Yes.
And also like people look ugly crying, and it's like, but it's not about how you look.
Yeah.
It's about like what is genuine.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Also, Zendaya is not ugly doing anything. Like, let's be real. Like, come on.
I love how they like highlighted her laugh at the beginning of the movie.
Oh my gosh,
the montage of her laughing with that like hoarse like cough.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, she does that,
so
and it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's her one flaw. But
for real.
Yeah, like Rachel is not she's not a friend. She's not even like a frenemy. She is truly a terrible person who has it out for Emma in so many different ways. And also the microaggression she has towards her own husband.
Yeah, that was
which
crazy.
Is why I love when people are like, oh, well, so and so can't be racist because they're married to a person of color. Like, I don't know, our vice president can't be racist because he's married to a woman of color. And it's like, actually, he can be. And in fact, he might be super racist because of it, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, she at one point says something along the lines of, like, Mike grew up around guns all the time and he was scared. And, like, like, all this stuff. And he was like,
he, like, immediately calls her on it. Like,
what are you talking about?
It was like, uncle was a cop? Like, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Grew up around gang violence. And he's like, what are you talking about? Right. Would she say that if she was married to a white man? Probably not. Right. Yeah. And so the amount of microaggressions she has towards the two black people in this movie, one of which she is married to, is fascinating. And so it again, that's just another layer to this film and this script is that's not even something that like is super overt, but if you spend any amount of time like thinking about it and diving into it, it's so apparent.
Yeah.
Okay, the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The other, oh man, I also love at the beginning when they see their DJ doing heroin.
Oh yeah. Which is
okay,
what started this whole thing.
And that's really what
yeah.
started it. And it's again like performative, like, oh, what's bad? Is it doing heroin on the street? Well, maybe it was a party.
Hey, out of curiosity, out of my own curiosity,
I have
for
not done
you guys.
heroin.
No, not what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask if you guys, Isaac, you didn't have a DJ or anything at your wedding,
No.
right?
I did. So
Walker,
I can answer
you
the
did?
question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you and Savannah were walking down the street and saw your
Mm-hmm.
DJ just doing a little heroin, no big deal, smoking a little crack, who
Yeah.
cares? It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. Would you fire your DJ?
I would not even think about it for 1 second. Like, I thought that was so, I don't know. I was just like, who cares? Like, oops, I accidentally saw them and they probably don't want me to, but like, I would not. The DJ can DJ on heroin if they want to, as long as they do their
it's like,
job.
Hey, you're not mixing correctly,
Right.
Or it's too loud. You're not listening to
yeah.
people, and
If
and
they-
it's like, yeah.
If they brought the heroin out at the wedding, it's a different story.
Sure,
but
sure.
you know, if they're just on the street and I just happen to see them, I would not even.
They
think
go
about
from
it
like
for a second.
doing heroin to pedophilia to like school shootings.
Yes, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That was like the hierarchy of the like. Well, I mean, what if you knew he was a pedophile? And it's like, well,
Right.
pedos, bring it down, bring
Right,
the party down,
yeah.
or whatever. But
Yeah.
when the other dude shows up, the replacement dude, I was laughing my ass off. That was so funny. I was like, I bet like 5 people like this. A lot of them were like homeschooled with me, and they are that way now. And I'm like, I know these people. And then he's like setting, and then there's that pop.
That scene. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I was cracking up. That was so funny.
That was so funny.
Yeah, there's like an electrical pop, and he's like, "These are not the cables I requested." In the middle,
and it sounds like a gunshot.
Zendaya. Yeah. In the middle of Emma's dad's speech about how his gun went missing, and you're just like, you just don't know what's going to happen because Charlie. I think Charlie had a nightmare that like someone did come and like shoot up their wedding, and maybe Emma, like that's pretty early on after the revelation, but. Okay, so there was that.
Can I say something real quick too about the DJ guy? I'm gonna really test if Walter ever listens to these full episodes, because sometimes when I go to Walter's office and he's got some new camera equipment, that's what I feel like, because he's like, Walter's more into photography, so he's like telling me all this photography stuff, and I'm just like,
yeah, buddy,
cool, dude, that's
cool.
Sick. That's cool.
Yeah.
Dude. So we'll see. We'll see if he.
I don't give a rat's ass about it. Let's see if he calls you out for the drive.
I hope he does.
But the two hilarious things about like this might be my favorite Robert Pattinson performance. Maybe later on, like maybe Dune 3. We'll get there. He's gonna go.
You're getting 3 of them this
Butler.
year, so
Yeah. So, but the thing I love about him is like, so I was listening to The Big Picture, and they described him as like he's the collision of Albert Brooks and give me just a second. I'm gonna find this, and I was like, oh, this is pretty true. He's like Albert Brooks and Hugh Grant. He's like very charming British guy, and then like he can flip a switch and be abrasive and kind of like needling, like and insecure, the way that Albert Brooks is in a lot of his earlier films. And the scene with Misha, his assistant,
Oh,
where
yeah.
he's trying to like figure out what's going on, and then he like has the meltdown, and then like, and then kisses her, and then they like almost start having sex, and then he like starts crying again. Like I just laugh because he's like so pathetic, so pathetic. Like he cannot process these emotions that he's having, and obviously that comes back with like Misha's boyfriend, you know, like headbutting him at the wedding in front of everyone, funny. And it's awful. But it's that moment, and then the moment like right after that when he's like about to fire the DJ and he starts crying again.
Yeah,
it's just like it's so funny. Not because it's like not because I'm like mean, but because it's like his performance in that moment. It's like he's just so like he's like just I don't know what to do, and it's just so good. Like this,
you
is
know,
like,
it's not.
So funny.
It's not about the DJ. He is so
just doesn't know what to do.
He's so unraveled and is so, which is like again fair. I think it's a fair reaction.
It's a tough thing to have to deal with, and that's the other thing. Is like 3 days before the wedding or 4 days before the wedding? It was like
the week of the wedding for sure.
It was really short amount of time to like have to process this.
Yeah. Yes.
And so you feel bad for him, but then you're also like, you shouldn't have done that, man. You should not have like done that.
Right.
Right. But also you can tell because he stops himself before anything with Misha goes any further than a kiss, which again, not cool. Shouldn't have done that in the first place. But you can tell, like, again, he's wrestling so much with this because he cares about Emma so much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's apparent. And so, and his speech at the wedding is so funny because he is freaking out still and is like on the verge of a panic attack. It's so funny. And then also whenever it's him and Emma and Misha's like, it was just a kiss, you know, nothing happened. And she's like, what are you talking about? And she goes, is this not what we're talking about? And he tries to like play it off and Emma looks at him and goes, you shut up. You stop talking. You keep talking. And she tells him everything, and she's just like, of course Emma's furious. Rightfully so. I mean, you're going to kiss someone else the day before your wedding? The day of your wedding?
It was before, because it was at work, right?
Yeah,
unless he worked on the day.
Unless he worked on the day of his wedding. I think it was the day before. Yeah. Also, when Misha's boyfriend confronts him, I love that we don't see what happens, and then it's like a flashback, but there's the camera snapping. I love that the photographer is taking pictures.
Still going.
Is locked in.
That detail is so funny.
Zoe Winters, golly.
I want to talk about her in a second. Do we think Walter would continue taking photos in this situation?
I don't know if he would, but he better. Like, that's my thing, because I want to see them.
Yes, that's what I think too.
Yeah,
he's got all this new gear. Why not just like film something unusual?
He's got this adapter that reduces the flange distance of the lens, guys.
Zoe Winters in the scene where they go like right at like the day after the the drunken debacle where that all that information comes to light. Zoe Winters is so funny and so good in that scene. Just like you can tell that she spent so much time with so many photographers who just like have that like can we do that?
Yeah. Can we someone on Instagram said
just
that Zoe
totally
Winters
natural smile.
Zoe Winters went to the Vanessa Bayer School of Fake Smiles and showed us side by side, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is 100% what happened. Like, that is so good, because I couldn't figure out what it reminded me of, and it reminded me of Vanessa Bayer from all the different SNL sketches where she's doing that like that big kind of goofy fake grin that's so uncomfortable. That's exactly what she does in that scene. It's amazing.
Can I tell you guys my favorite scene of this movie?
Yes, please do.
Yes.
The scene at the end after the fight, and we see Robert Pattinson walk into his apartment in his tux, covered in blood and bruised up, and he puts that stupid song on and starts dancing to it. I am dying laughing in the back of the movie theater. No one else is laughing, and I'm just like crying. I thought it was so funny.
I would have watched
funny.
5 minutes of that.
Yeah, me too.
The camera goes up when it's his back, and he like has his hands like this, and you can see his fingertips, and he's like, dude, oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It was
yeah.
I was gonna say, it's like, to me, almost like the actual earned moment, like what the end of Saltburn was trying to be. This did it for me. This moment did it for me.
I can't wait to watch. I like couldn't tell Jessica anything about this. She was like, "What are you going to see?" And I was like, "The drama." And she was like, "Oh, I want to see that." I was like, came back and I said, "I can't like tell you anything about it.
No,
you just have to watch it.
And
you shouldn't look at anything about it."
If you've listened to this episode, I'm so sorry we spoiled everything for you at this point.
Even though we had a pretty strong worded opener.
So, what did you guys think of the final scene in the diner?
Okay, this is where I was like, this is pretty. It's a pretty emotional ending, because that's kind of how you have to accept someone if you are going to marry them. Like that's my read on it.
Yeah.
As someone who's been married for 8 years, 8.5 years.
God, has it been 8 years?
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
Almost a decade of dreams.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's like he never stopped loving her, but he was just like freaked out by it, because it is like a kind of that revelation is scary. But then when he realized like he had sunk to a new level of like, or maybe that's the point of the movie. Maybe the point is we get to see Charlie then do the worst thing he's ever done. Yeah. Like the day before his wedding, he tried to in a kind of
I hadn't thought about that.
Psychosis sort of state try to hook up or have some sort of release with his assistant that he ultimately doesn't mean, but it's still technically the worst thing he could ever done. I guess that's one way to read it, but how she's kind of going back to like, I want to make this work, and that's how I read the ending. It's like they're gonna make it through. He may lose his job, but
probably
for sexual harassment.
Yeah. So
I love the ending. I think I think I agree with Isaac that it kind of is it kind of shows what a wedding really is, what you're really doing. You're accepting someone, totally and fully, for all the good, all the bad. Like, and I think that what they went through is a more powerful bonding thing than any vows they could have said, any speech they could have given. They kind of went through probably the worst thing they'll ever have to go through together. And it just happened to be on their wedding day. And, they still at the end of the day decided, chose each other and decided to be okay with the things that each of them have done. And I think that's beautiful. That's what, that's what you're doing when you're getting married. That's what you say up there at the altar. That's why, put the ring on to remember that. So, and they're never going to forget that. They're never going to forget everything that happened and everything they've been through. But yeah, I loved it. I mean, I thought it was... It was very sweet, a very sweet and nice ending for a movie that had not been that sweet.
Yeah.
And the Materialists, I do want to give it this credit, even though like I think that this is a far superior movie about relationships in general. Materialists has a positive. Both these movies have a positive view of like long-term relationships.
Yeah,
and I think that's really not the norm right now. I really didn't want it to end with them like, well, too bad we're too fucked up to make this work. Just gonna have to be alone, because we don't ultimately want, like, that's not a happy. We want a happy ending, but we also want realism, and we want like something that is practical in our stories, and I'm really glad that they were like that was the ending instead of her just like walking out or pretending she didn't know him. Yeah, thought it was good. Thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
very high on this movie.
I am also really high in this movie. I do also love the ending. I think that I understand why we're comparing it to Materialists. I think that they talk about different components of a relationship, though.
I totally agree.
And different, like, I don't know, avenues, I guess, of being in a relationship, right? I've also seen people compare it to like past lives as well. Again, it's a long-term relationship that is being kind of put under the microscope, and so, but I think that this movie does beg the question of what are you actually willing to accept in someone else, and can you accept someone for all that they are, not just the nice shiny parts of them. And because some of those parts are going to fade, right? Like, again, looks fade, right? And so can you accept someone for who they are as a person, their best qualities and their worst? And that's hard for a lot of people because people love the idea of a relationship, but being in a relationship is really difficult, right? And so I say that as someone who's never actually been in a relationship, so what do I know? But coaches don't play. Coaches don't play, so...
but you have.
No.
Credit where credit's due.
So... but coaches don't play, and that's all right. So, anyway, but this movie I think is so good. So I don't think a lot of people are gonna like it, though.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Well, it's Monday. Let me look at Box Office Mojo and see how it did.
Yeah, I was curious. All the people I know that have seen it have liked it, have enjoyed it, but they're all movie people too. They saw it on opening weekend.
I think that makes a difference, though.
Yeah. That probably makes
it. It made.
My sister saw it though, and she liked it.
14.4 million, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
what's its
good.
budget? It can't be.
Let's see. Hold on, I've got IMDb pulled up. Let me scroll down. The budget was. Is it not on here?
At least $100.
At
Maybe.
least
They might have
here.
given Robert Pattinson $100.
Yeah. They gave Zendaya at least 200.
Yeah,
at least 300.
So, anyway, but
I also like that this was an hour and 45 minutes and not.
Yeah.
Not
I mean, that was another problem with Materialist. Materialist was just like way too long.
Okay, not too much on Materialists.
I'm just saying.
I also was going to say, too, I love whatever film stock they shot this movie on. It was absolutely gorgeous. And there were noticeable imperfections in it, and I loved it. It was great. There were probably, like, I told somebody after, I was like, there were a lot of noticeable imperfections in whatever film they were shooting on, but I love it.
Which I think is also probably symbolic of the main characters, right?
For sure.
So, yeah.
I will say I saw an interview with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson before this movie where she talked about how Robert Pattinson basically ruined all the continuity for this movie because he was constantly touching his hair, and she was right. His hair never looked the same in any shot in this movie.
It's tousled. He just has that sort of head of hair.
It's a really funny clip too because she's like, Rob is just like constantly touching his hair all the time, and I know there's no continuity in this movie because of it. And he's like looking down, he looks sad, he's like, it took me a really long time to make that decision for this character. And then he just starts laughing because he's such a liar.
Their interviews have been so good and so funny, and I do love that, like, she's just called out the fact that Robert Pattinson is just a chronic liar, a pathological liar, anytime he's doing interviews. And so I think it's funny when people are like, I can't believe he said this. And I'm like, I can't believe you can't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, he is unhinged.
Yeah. Even all the way back to Twilight. Like, you go watch some of those interviews he's doing in Twilight. Like, he was being so weird.
Yeah. So, Man.
Golly, I love that. Yeah, he's such a weirdo.
I
was gonna say we have to shout out the wedding dancer or the choreographer who gets so intense. It's like, can we stop fucking around?
So
Yeah.
So again, like a performative, emphasizing like the performative, theme of the movie.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I've ever seen her smile. Like, why is she so intense? Like,
Yeah. Man.
That was very funny.
All right. Any final thoughts?
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
Walker.
Yeah.
Walker,
You've
go
been
ahead.
interrupted like 3 times.
That's okay. I was just going to say my official Letterboxd review of this movie was I think me and Robert Pattinson would be very good friends. And I just want to put that out there for everyone to know that and to give him the invite to hang out sometime if he wants to do it.
You have an open invite to our Pats.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that. I think you guys would be.
Thanks.
So
I appreciate that. We could probably make some really fun lies up together, I think. I think
you
both
guys
really
can come up
do
with
that.
some really good things.
Yeah.
So I think Zendaya and I would be friends. So
I agree. We'll give her an invite
me
to
and-
hang out. You gotta give her
hey, Zendaya, you have an open invitation. If you ever want to hang out, just let me know. If I ever get married, you will be invited to the wedding. You and Tom.
I wonder,
So.
like, if Tom is as like gentle as his Peter Parker persona is, because we
don't know.
we have a pretty good idea of like what Robert Pattinson is like in real life. That he's just kind of like goofy, but also really aloof, and not really like that warm or personable. And then Zendaya is like strong-willed, insightful. Like, she also has a pretty, like, I just wonder if Tom Holland is actually like that. If he's like
I think-
sweet and kind of like, oh man, I just want to give you a hug,
Here's-
because that's how I
here's-
think of him.
Yeah, but I think to some extent that's probably true because he doesn't. When Zendaya has a premiere or anything like that going on, he will
doesn't
not
go,
walk
right?
with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
He might go, but he
Or, yeah,
won't
he
be
doesn't.
like he won't walk with her because he wants it to be about her, not them together. And I think that's a really sweet gesture that very few men actually ever consider. And so I think to some extent also they're so cute in their interviews for like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait to see their press tour for the new Spider-Man and for the Odyssey this year because they will be paired up for Spider-Man for sure.
Yeah.
And so I think they're really sweet together. I love them. So
They're sweet.
anyway, final
Any
thoughts?
final thoughts? The drama, good. Go see it.
Yeah.
Go see it.
Good.
So no final thoughts.
No final thoughts here.
Great.
Well, wait. I do have a final thought.
Oh,
Okay, go for it.
I'm so sad. I'm going to miss 2 weeks of recording episodes with you guys. I just wanted to say it on air.
hey,
But-
we're gonna miss you, but you're gonna have fun.
Yeah. I'll be having a good time. That's true. But I still
Yeah.
miss this.
It's a precedent that has not been set by anyone else on this podcast.
No one's ever missed 2 weeks before.
2 in a
ever.
row.
2 in a row.
Well, I have some good
I've-
news for you,
Okay.
Walker.
Okay.
Mother Mary does not come out until the 24th.
Oh.
What the date that we had in there was a limited release.
Oh.
So the wide release is the
Oh.
24th. So you are going to be able to be
Comeback
on that
episode.
All right.
Yeah, the Kim Kardashian episode.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know
I'm
exactly.
yes.
Okay. Thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Thank you to Walter Lyle for producing this episode, editing this episode together, stitching this episode together, and for having this sort of like dampener that reduces the flange on your flashes in your photography.
Ooh, so close.
Proud of you, buddy.
So close.
Being an overall guy. How close was I?
it reduces the flange distance is the distance between the lens and a sensor, the sensor in the camera. I
hope that Walter just like interjects here and just like splices this with his own audio.
I want Walter to know too. I love talking to him about gear. That was a joke. I don't want him, I love talking to Walter about gear. So
I think what's a closer comp is like me trying to tell Walter about like a 4K I got of No Country for Old Men. He's like, I don't care.
That's a good one.
What is that movie?
That's a good one.
Who is Anton Chigurh? Thank you to Sean Cohen for our art. Our art is by Sean Cohen. Our music is by Corden Jocks. And what else? Our next episode is The Bodyguard, right?
Sick. Yeah.
Whitney Houston.
Man.
Kevin Costner. Never seen it.
I've never seen it either. Walker.
It's going to be a good one. It'll
Never
be me and Olivia and maybe Walter. Probably not, though.
It'll probably just be you and me.
You guys.
Just riffing. Just you and me. Just
riffing. Just a couple of pals riffing away. Riffing and raffing.
I need y'all's best Whitney Houston run on that episode.
Oh, no.
I need you both to give an attempt.
That's going to be dishonoring her legacy.
Wait, run?
Like a run. Like, she does
like when she sings? Like a vocal run?
Oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if there was like an iconic run in that movie that she does.
No, not Tom Cruise run.
Like physically running.
Not like that.
Hey, I'll try.
Okay,
I'll look forward to it.
Because you asked me to.
Yeah.
This one's for Walker. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all. We will catch you on the flippity flip. Amazing.